So we've discussed the present tense here, and we've talked about the present progressive tense. And now it's time to talk about the present perfect tense, the has done or have done. So in terms of the overall picture of where we're going, this is the third item that we're covering right now, the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense is somewhat complicated, and this is definitely probably the most difficult of the tenses, this and the past perfect tense. So we got to study it carefully. This is the form that uses the had done and the have done. I have eaten, she has eaten. That's the form that you use. Make sure you're not using the had done for this tense, okay? We're talking about an experience that we've had, but something not related to time, okay? A change or a situation that is ongoing, something that has started in the past and it is ongoing all the way to the present, or some change that has happened sometime in the past without really a definite association with a particular time. Or it could be a multiple event that happened multiple times in the past over a period, so it's hard to pinpoint exact time to the events because it happened at multiple points. It is often used with the for, the word for, or the word since. For 5 years or since 1995 is the common phrases that you'll see, especially in, say, the SAT exam when they ask a particular grammar question. If you see for some time or since some time, the chances are you really need to have the present perfect tense there. Not used if a particular point in time is specified. So this is a big distinction between the past tense and the present perfect. The past tense is used when you talk about a particular point, like yesterday, last year, 1996. But present perfect is used when you don't talk about a specific point in time. So in terms of the tense diagram, we're talking about some event that happened in the past, but if we mention when it happened, then we will use the past tense and we'll say yesterday he jumped over a fence. But if it happened at some point, it could be that same event, but you don't want to say that it happened yesterday or you don't know when it happened. You want to say that, oh, he has jumped over that fence before. Sometime before, I don't know when, but he has done it. My dog has jumped over that fence many times. So it could be that in that statement, it could be many times in the past. Okay, so statements like that, that's the distinction between the present perfect and the past. One category of the present perfect form is the experience, that you want to convey that something has happened before and you know of it and you have experienced it, but you're not really interested in saying when it happened, and it doesn't matter, no one cares when it happened. You just want to say that it has happened, you have experienced it. So you would say, I have been to Japan. Not I went to Japan, that would be in the past tense. When would you say I went to Japan? You would have to say I went to Japan last year. You have to specify when that happened. If you don't do it and you want to just say the experience of going to Japan, you've been there and you know about it, then you say I have been to Japan. I haven't read that book. You don't have that experience and you don't know what it's about and you can't talk about it. Okay, if you want to say that you read it in class for an English class last year, you would have to specify that it was last year. Change or a situation that is ongoing. The rain has stopped, and that's a change in situation, right? And we don't know when that change took place, but it is a change that has happened, and we're only talking about the result of the change in the present. So that's what we're really interested in, the result that is different from something in the past. Or it could be a situation that is ongoing. I have lived in this country for many years. So that means in the timeline, it started somewhere in the past and it comes all the way to the present up to this point here. And we don't know when that point was in the past, past point, but it is over a long period and it is ongoing. Most likely, this person's, the speaker saying this sentence, I have lived in this city for many years, is probably living in that city. There's a small chance that he's not living there anymore, but most likely he is. So we consider it an ongoing event. Multiple times in the past. So that's in the chart. So here we are at point C, and it could have been many times in the past. The dog has jumped over the fence. So the sample sentence here says she has written many books. So many times in the past she has written books, and we don't know exactly when, so we'll say she has written. I have been to Paris. So if you just say I have been to Paris, that's about experience of going there. If you add 3 times, that means it's happened multiple times, so I can't specify exactly when that happened. Another rule to remember is that the tense is often used with for or since. She has worked here for 20 years. Okay, that little prepositional phrase there tells you about the time period when something happened. So for 20 years is a duration of time, and that's why it's not specifically pinpointing one point. So diagram wise, if we're here, she has worked here for 20 years refers to this time, like that time period coming all the way to today, or maybe starting from there all the way to today, and this is 20 years. Whereas if we were talking about one particular point, then we would have to use the past tense. She has worked here since 1997. Well, this one is 1997. It's not about that particular point in 1997 though. It's about her working starting from there all the way to today. And that's why we use the present perfect instead of the past tense. The last thing to remember is that it is not used if a particular point in time is specified. That means, and this used to be a very common issue on the SAT writing exam, where they tested on the grammar points like this. The distinction between the past tense and the present perfect was very important. If you say she has eaten a pizza yesterday, this is a problem because you have the word yesterday. That's a specific point in time, and you cannot use the present perfect for that. Okay, you would have to say she ate a pizza yesterday. Okay, so that's the distinction between the present perfect, which is an unspecified time, and the past tense, which is a very specific point in time.